Hello and thank you for joining Paper Crafting with Tracy. Today I'm going to show you the technique of color lifting. So I've done some demonstration ones or some samples here for you. So this one here is a bit of a nautical theme or seashore theme. And what I've done is I stamped images on the Night of Navy cardstock. And then with the color lifter, I went over those stamped images and it actually made it into almost like a soft seafoam. And that's what I did here. This one here, I was using the Coastal Cabana and color lifted, and it made it almost a white image. So I only did some of the flowers in there. Okay, and that's the inside. And then this one here is Cherry Cobbler. And when you color lift it, it actually turned kind of a yellow color. So I teamed that up with some gold accents, and that's what I got there. I really liked how that one turned out. So the one I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a piece of Pacific Point, and I'm going to stamp my image on. So I'm going to do a different nautical theme. I'm going to be using the Sailing Home stamp set. So this one here, and I'm going to use one of the sailboats, just like so. So I'm going to stamp it with the Pacific Point first. And before I stamp it, I want to make sure I got my embossing powder handy because the ink will stay wet for a short period of time and you want it to be nice and wet. So we'll make sure everything's all inked up well. I'm going to stamp that on there. There we go. And now I will get my embossing powder here. Now what I forgot to do is cover my sheet with the embossing buddy. But I think I'm going to get away with it here just to make sure. I'm just going to go over it once more, make sure it's nice and heavy on there. And you got to be careful where your fingerprints are because that's what tends to come out. Now before I heat that up, make sure you move your embossing powder away. Now I will heat set this. And what it'll do, because that was clear embossing powder that I used, is it will just bring out the color of the Pacific Point ink, as you will see here as it's coming. So it just goes back to looking as to what it was. And just make sure it's good and set. I'm going to move my ink out of the way. Now, I'm going to take the water painters, like I have here, except one of them here I have filled with bleach. This is a fine tipped one. And now I'm just going to paint it. And I'm not going to paint a whole bunch of it. You can see where I dripped a tiny bit there. Oh, this one's really wet. So I'll just take some of it off on a scrap piece there and move this around. And the bleach is what lifts the color. So there's one sail. Now we'll get this other one here. I don't want to bleach or lift the whole thing. More so just the color. The sails. And I'll probably do the boat as well. And you'll see quite easily where you've missed. So I'm just going to do the bottom of the boat there. So we'll let that dry for a moment. And you can see it starting to lift right away, and I can see where I've missed just a tiny bit here. Okay. And I'm going to add a couple more dots there. They can be like stars, just to balance out that one drop that I had. So even though it wasn't something I had originally intended on, you make it work. Okay, so while that's drying, and you can see it all lifting, it becomes kind of a green color. I'm going to start putting together some of the rest. So I will stamp or put together the inside, which is just going to be basic white. Oh, that just ran out, so we'll carry on with this one for now. And it's basic white, and we're putting it on top of the Bermuda Bay. And that's what the inside will be. And I'll probably take a stamp out of here. I think maybe the anchor. And I'll get that Pacific Point again. I'll just stick that in there. Okay, so the inside is ready, so I'll put that on the card. You can see how that's changing already. And it gets lighter and lighter as it dries. So where those are almost dry now, it went over a little bit, and that's just because my paintbrush was really wet. So I'll just finish doing this one. Oh, I realized I forgot to, oh no, I didn't. I'll just score it here. Oops. So the inside of the card. Okay, and now I'm going to attach this to the outside. Okay, and actually I'm not completely happy how that turned out. So I will do it again. Well, I won't at the moment. Put that on here. Now I've got a little piece of Bermuda Bay stamped out or cut out, which I'm going to put my sentiment on. I'm just going to do that in black. There we go. And then I will attach these to the card. Okay. So it's just going to attach like so. And before I do that, I'm going to take some Night of Navy. And I'm going to texturize the base of the card with that anchor. So I just need to clean off that Pacific Point. So I'm just doing color on color for this. And I'm just I'll do one more over here on this side. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to attach that there. And this one down here. Okay, and then I will attach this one as well. when I take a picture for the thing, I will just redo it. So, to bring back the original samples, okay, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial with paper crafting with Tracey, teaching you how to do color lifting, and happy stamping.